keep going because time. The third myth is no one understands what I'm going through with PCOS. Type yes if this is how you feel. No one understands what I'm going through with PCOS. So we're getting deep here. We're getting so deep here. So many people have told me that having PCOS is such a lonely experience. I feel so alone. I have no one to talk to. People don't understand. Let me know if this is you. You feel alone in your experience with PCOS. The reason why you feel alone with your PCOS is because we live in a society where it's all about individualism. We feel like we are separate from each other. And especially with all this social media, we only see this perfection, amazing, like life is so great side of people. And then we suffer behind the screen. And we don't tell anyone about it because shame that we don't have the best life, shame that we're not perfect, shame that we make mistakes, shame that we're a bit weird and have our quirks, shame that we have PCOS, shame that we have health conditions, shame that we binge eat and there's something going on there. We believe that we are so separate from each other. But in reality, all these fears that we have, all these insecurities, all these programs that we have are so universal. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of being weird, the fear of being judged, the fear of being laughed at, the fear of not achieving enough, the fear of not being perfect. We're in a shame pandemic. That is the biggest pandemic that we have. We're in a shame pandemic. Everything is do all the shameful things, all the bad things behind closed doors, and only present the perfect, the pleasant, the things that will make people feel comfortable. And so we don't share these experiences that aren't so pleasant. And we feel like there's something wrong with us when we don't share these things because no one else does. Of course, there is a shift happening. We're starting to see a shift happening. We're starting to see people be more vulnerable on camera, online. We're starting to see people share the light and the dark, the light and the shadow. This is why we love people like Brené Brown. I don't know if you know Brené Brown, but she's a shame and vulnerability researcher. That's like what got her like to who she is now in the world. If you haven't watched her TED Talk, The Power of Vulnerability, that's the thing that really skyrocketed her career. And now she goes around and does like leadership trainings for corporations, which, you know, they need that emotional intelligence, right? But what was I getting with that? We love her. So many people love her. Anytime anyone says her name, everyone's like, oh my God, yes, Brené Brown, including myself, because she's this powerful being, like big presence. And she shares the things that she feels scared or shame or these less pleasant things about. She shares it all. She's vulnerable. We love vulnerable people. We feel like we can connect with them because we don't see enough on Instagram, on social media, on the TV. We see all these perfect people, the perfect look and presence and appearance of people. And we don't see the real person, and that becomes our standard. And we think, what is wrong with us if we're not perfect? I'm getting ahead of myself here, but we'll talk more about Brene Brown in a moment. I have a great quote from her. This ties in with the internal self versus the external self. Our internal selves, like I was talking about before, it's that intuition. It's reconnecting with your intuition, listening to it, trusting it. That's your internal self. You'll constantly be getting messages and advice and information and all the things from your internal self. You have a whole soul, a whole network, a whole being within yourself. And then you also have your external self, the self that you present to people, the self that society sees and judges to see if it's acceptable or not. You're in a bigger body. I don't know about that. And so you as your external self, you try to fit into this mold that society, that diet culture, that your mom, whoever deems as acceptable. And so there's this disconnect between your internal and your external self. There's this disconnect between you and your intuition, because you're trying to meet the needs, satisfy the needs, meet the expectations of the external world. So your external self, you try to fit into this mold. And your internal self is like crying, like, I just want to be me. Can I be me? Can I be with me with all my light and my shadow, with my PCOS and my health, with my weird quirks and my fun quirks? I just want to be me. I just want to eat and enjoy food, but be healthy at the same time. Can I not do that? But the external self is like, I need to fit into this mold, so I need to restrict myself and not have fun with my food and be miserable so that other people can accept me. Is this hitting home for you? I know this is like goes real deep, but it's that separation between your internal and your external self. That is why you feel lonely. The work is connecting the two. The work is being so sure and confident in your internal self that it bleeds out into your external self. You live from the inside out as opposed to the outside in. That's how you connect with other people. You share more with other people. You share the fun experiences and the not so fun experiences, and you connect to others who have these experiences, and you don't feel so alone. Rather than trying to be this external, trying to have your external self look perfect, and you only connect to people on a very shallow level because you're only connecting on the light, the perfection, on the what you think people want to see. When you connect authentically, when you shine authentically, you will attract other people who want the same. You will attract people that you can have authentic human connection with, and you feel less alone. 20 something years of my life, 25 years of my life, that was me, me being only happy and only joyful and never sharing my struggles or my sadness or my grief or any of that. And so I connected to people really shallowly. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm such a positive person, but then I'm like depressed and anxious inside and so struggling so hard, and I can't get help and I can't tell anyone about it, and I feel so lonely. Only in the last couple of years, I've done a lot of the internal work, and I've now and connecting the internal self to the external self. Still a lot of work to do, of course. This is a lifelong work, but I feel so much more free and truly joyful and authentically connecting with others. So I rarely feel alone anymore, even though I go and live overseas by myself in a place that there's not a lot of people, where I haven't made that many friends. I don't feel alone. because I feel free, because the connections I do make, they are authentic. A friend once asked me, what makes you feel at home? I said, authentic human connection. So merging your internal self and your external self. I want to really briefly talk about the human experience and polarity, and then we'll keep going, because I know this is long. It's so good. I should do a training on each of these by themselves, because there's so much more to say about each of them. The human experience, though, we are meant to feel the light and the shadow, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative. And when I say good and bad and positive, negative, it's not like it's not like, oh, like that's bad, like it's bad to feel the bad things or the negative things. It's polarity, it's day and night, it's yin and yang, it's feminine and masculine energies. This is the human experience for us to feel, to experience the polarity. We are meant to experience both. So if we only try to experience the happy and the joyful and the pleasant and that side of things, the positive things, we're only experiencing half of life, and we're trying to suppress the other half. But when you suppress things, they don't go away. It's not that you don't experience it, you just experience it in more sinister, more covert ways. When I was only trying to experience the positive and the joy and the happiness, I felt deeply depressed, deeply anxious. We're not, our society, this is what our society tries to encourage and force us and shame us if we're not positive and happy all the time. We're meant to shun away and suppress our less pleasant emotions because, don't make other people feel uncomfortable. Be pleasant, be joyful, be happy, be quiet. This is not what life is meant to be about. And if you try to make it like that, man, you're going to struggle. We are meant to experience the full spectrum of it all. Oh, my AirPod. We're meant to experience the light and the shadow, the positive and the negative, the pleasant and less pleasant things. And when we experience that, we experience life at such a depth that we can appreciate both sides. This goes for what you're going through with your PCOS. So if you're just trying to like get rid of your PCOS and like not experience, I have another thing to say about this, and not experience the struggles with PCOS, it doesn't just go away, does it? You're still going to struggle with it, but you're going to struggle with another layer of trying to suppress the struggle. And a part of the human experience is to learn the lessons of why you feel the shadow side, why you feel unpleasant, why you have PCOS, why you have the challenges that you do in your life. Everything is happening for you. Nothing is ever happening to you. Everything is always happening for you. Let that sink in. Nothing is ever happening to you. Everything is always happening for you. This helps to get you out of the victim mindset that we talked about before. What is the lesson or the lessons in your PCOS that you need to learn to heal? We're getting into energetics here. If you just try to skip to the end and you just take a magic pill to try to heal your PCOS and get rid of all your symptoms, you haven't learned anything except taking a pill. That's not really a lesson though. You haven't learned how to care for yourself properly, how to nourish yourself properly, how to rest, how to balance doing and being, the feminine and masculine energies, how to set boundaries, how to discern between what's urgent and what's important. These are the lessons that you need to learn to heal your PCOS. And if you don't heal them, if you don't learn them, karmic cycle, you're going to have to learn them again. The universe will put circumstances in your way so that you learn these lessons. And that's why you feel like, why? I feel like I've dated this kind of person before. I feel like I've been in this situation before. I feel like I've been in this restrict and binge cycle for ages. You're still in this cycle. You're repeating this cycle because you haven't learned the lesson. If you're still struggling with your PCOS, you haven't learned the lesson. That's why taking a magic pill or potion doesn't work, because you need to learn the lesson. I'm not going to go like super deep into this because I will talk about this in the upcoming program that I'll mention in a moment. But yeah, you know, I could talk about all these things forever because they're so important. But we need to move on. The real problem is that you're scared to let yourself be seen. Type yes in the chat box if this is you, if you feel comfortable. Brené Brown says, shame is the intensely painful feeling that we are unworthy of love and belonging. That shame of sharing, of having PCOS, of being in a bigger body, of binge eating. There's this shame. The shame is that there's something wrong with me. My body is broken. And no one will ever love me or accept me if I live in a bigger body. And so the shame clouds your judgment about what you need to do to heal your PCOS. And you're afraid, you're scared to let yourself be seen. It is scary at the beginning when you haven't let yourself be seen for so long, seen with your light and your shadow, seen with the pleasant and less pleasant parts of you, seen as all of you, not just the pleasant parts, not just the not so pleasant parts, all of you. It can be scary to be seen as you when you have been told that a part of you should be shameful. The solution is, I allow myself to be seen and heard. Say it with me. I allow myself to be seen and heard. Allow yourself to be seen and heard. That's not the picture I wanted. Oh, well. That's definitely not Indigenous and Eastern cultures and ancient civilizations placing value on community. But anyway, something to fix for next time. So I allow myself to be seen and heard. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself with sharing the parts of you that you're afraid to be seen and or heard with your loved ones, or a PCOS community, or a women's group. Somewhere that you feel safe. That's so, 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 so important. Somewhere that you feel safe. Safety is not something that you can fake the feeling of. It depends on a couple of things like attachment styles, but Now I'm like, my mind's going on tangents. But it is important for you to find a safe environment where you feel like you can be seen and heard in all of your entirety, where you feel like when you share something that feels vulnerable for you, that feels like it's shameful for you, that you will be held in that space with love and compassion, that you will not feel judged, that you will not feel shamed, that they will hold that space for you to feel whatever you need to feel so you can release that emotion, you can release the shame. And you can be reminded either verbally or just by their energy that you are perfect with your light and your shadow. This is not something that you can fake, this feeling of safety. Actually, you can, but that's a discussion for another day. It's a feeling, it's energy, it's also your nervous system. I'm obviously science-based as a dietitian, but I'm also very spiritual and into energetic science. So take it in whichever way resonates with you. The energy of feeling safe in a space and also your nervous system feeling safe in a space. It's all the same thing. If you're going to go into a program, a women's group, or what have you, having someone who is trauma informed can be super helpful and quite important in my mind to help you feel safe to be heard and seen. Life, death, and rebirth. What do I mean by this? We are constantly going through cycles in life. Yes, the actual physical life, death, and rebirth, but also the parts of ourselves, the identities, the patterns. It has a life, it has a death, and it has a rebirth. So allowing yourself to be seen in going through all these cycles is important as well. Being able to be accepted in your rebirth, in this new person, identity, habit that you want to step into. If you constantly have someone who's like, you've changed. Why have you changed so much? You used to be so fun. Why don't you drink alcohol anymore? Why don't you stay out late? Why don't you whatever? It's holding you back from stepping into your higher self, your rebirth, your goddess energy. So that's the other important thing with allowing yourself to be seen and heard. And with this, you're breaking generational, ancestral, and collective trauma. You are not the first one in your lineage to feel like it's unsafe to share your shadow. You are not the first in your ancestral line to feel like you're not good enough, to feel shame about your body, to have body image issues, to have food issues. Has your mom ever been on a diet? Did she put you on a diet? Did her mom put her on a diet? Is everyone concerned about their body and their weight? When you heal this part of you, you're healing generational, ancestral, and collective trauma. you're breaking the karmic cycle. You're not passing on these traumas, these insecurities, these patterns onto the next generation. This work is bigger than you can imagine. We're going to keep going. The ripple effect. I allow myself to be seen and heard. The first effect is that you banish shame for yourself and others and make better decisions. Shame clouds your judgment and it clouds your connection to your intuition. Your intuition will always guide you to make the best decisions for you. Shame will cloud that. So allowing yourself to be seen and heard when you're supported by a community who can hold that space for you, you banish the shame. And when you share, other people realize that, oh my gosh, I have the same problem. That means that is not something wrong with me. It's just, this is a common problem. Other people have it. It's not that I'm broken. It's just that this is a problem and we need to figure out a solution. You learn from others. You heal with others. When you heal, I heal. When I heal, you heal. This is the power of community and a collective. The second layer is you heal ancestral, generational, and collective trauma. You break the cycle. It's that karmic cycle that we were talking about before. If your parents haven't learned the lesson in this karmic cycle when you are born, it becomes a part of your karmic cycle. The karmic cycle is not like karma, like what we like. If you do a bad thing, you get a bad thing back, or when you do a good thing, you get a good thing back. The karmic cycle is the purpose of your life, the thing that you need to learn in this life to expand yourself and to step into your higher purpose, which is level 3. When you break your karmic cycle, when you learn the lesson, when you learn how to heal your PCOS because you learned the lessons, you step into your higher purpose. Your karmic cycle is your dharma. This is in yogic philosophy. It becomes your dharma. It becomes your life's purpose. You share this thing so that other people can heal as well. So that it's a collective healing, it's a generational healing, it's ancestral healing, it's healing. When you heal, I heal. When I heal, you heal. I can tell you about feminine and masculine energies and being deficient and wounded and excess in the feminine and masculine energies because I've been there. I've done that. I've been burnt out. I've been depressed and anxious. I've been hypercritical of myself. I've been there. I've done a lot of healing in it. It's still a journey, but like I feel like the bulk of it, maybe. We'll see. I can tell you about this experience of feeling lonely and only sharing the happy and bright side, but actually feeling depressed and anxious inside because I've experienced it. There is a reason why you have come into this training, why you are a part of my community. We are an energetic match. You know that I have the codes for you, and you have the code, you have codes for me as well. And in our exchange, we exchange these codes so we can learn from each other, so we can heal together, so we can expand and be more joyful and balanced and free. This is the power of what you are doing. This is the power of your healing. This is why your healing is so important. You shining in your most authentic light allows others to shine in theirs. I say, hurt people, and heal people, help others heal themselves. Doesn't excuse the behavior of the hurt people, but it helps with compassion. But when you heal, your light is so bright, you attract other people that you can support and guide as well. This is why I attract my audience, because I shine in my authentic light, and it helps you realize that you have so much potential to heal and to be and to grow and to expand into your higher self, so that you can create your dream life, so you can have your dream house, so you can have everything that you can imagine. This is what's possible. Please let me know how you have found the training so far. I know it's been big. It's been big, no doubt, but this is why you're going to get lifetime access to this, because you need to rewatch it like again and again and again, because every time something more is going to drop in. Every time you watch it, you're going to have a new understanding, a new layer, a new foundation, and things are going to drop in and land differently. And you'll realize, and you'll have more epiphanies, and you break more cycles, and you break more patterns, and you have more awareness. And you heal here, and you change that, and you do that, and that's where magic happens. But if you want more support to achieve lasting results, if you want more guidance with all of this, you can join a community of empowered sisters who are ready to feel seen and heard and break through self-sabotaging patterns, so you can finally achieve lasting relief from your PCOS symptoms and live a more energetic, empowered, and free life. The Proven Path to PCOS Healing is a live program that is upcoming next week. We start next week. It is a 3-week, 6-module program, but let's be honest, I'm probably going to add more modules, because I have a lot to say, clearly. But in this program, you'll get step-by-step guidance combined with strengthening your intuitive wisdom. So of course, I'm going to give you the education of what you need to do, how for your nutrition and your movement, and how to do all of that. But I'm going to teach you how to reconnect with your intuition, listen to it and trust it, so that you're not just following what I tell you to do. You're taking that and then you're applying it, and you're listening to your intuition to see if it applies to you, to see if it works for you. So that you don't need to remember, oh, Amanda said I need to eat breakfast and have 3 meals a day and X, Y, and Z. It's just you intuitively know, because it feels good in your body. It's laying those foundations like we talked about. You already know what to do. I'm just here to help you remember. This program is trauma-informed, and you'll have guided inner work. So you can stop self-sabotaging, you can break these subconscious and unconscious habits, and you can actually get lasting results. When you understand how your body, your mind, and your spirit works together, everything flows. Everything is so much easier to shift and change and to grow and expand and be better and do better. And you get to step into your next level of power by being supported by a community. You get to do less and heal more. You get to benefit from collective healing. So, because you have stuck through with me for, oh my gosh, 2 hours of this training, you get a very special price. Currently, the live program itself, so the 3 weeks of training, 6 modules, probably more, is currently $397 to $497. It's a sliding scale, so pay what you can afford for the general public. But for you, because you've stuck with me for so long and you're here, you get it for the early bird pricing, which is $297 to $397. So it's a pay what you can afford kind of system, sliding scale. So if you can afford $297, go for it. If you can afford a little bit more, then your payment helps to balance out the people who can't afford as much. So thank you. thank you for everyone who joins, or even if you don't join. So you can scan that code to join. Let me pop this in I'll put it in the Facebook group as well, so you have that. I don't know if that's working. I'll do that later. So you can scan that if you want to join the program. And then there's also the live program and mastermind bundle. So you have the live program, which is the 3 weeks. It's all the training. And then there's a mastermind, which is a small group, a small container where you get access to me coaching and the mastermind 1 day a week for 4 weeks. You also get Voxer with me in it 4 days a week, and you get access to the Voxer 24/7. Voxer is like a group chat. So you're super connected into the energy of this program. You're just plugged into the program. And so you're supported, you're held, you're seen by this community. The mastermind is so powerful because this is where you heal from each other, with each other, together, and you heal faster and deeper without doing more work, doing less work. It's still a lot of work, but you do less work and you heal more. So the live program and mastermind bundle is $888 currently for the general public, but you get $100 off, $777, and you can scan that to pay there, and you'll get it at that price. These specials are for 48 hours only after this finishes. I will also put that link in the Facebook group and in the email. That is the program. If you want to learn more about the program before you join, or if you have any questions, or if you need anything, just hit me up on Instagram at pcos.freedom.dietitian and ask away. DM me. We can sort it all out. If you're confused about what you want, whatever, DM me. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you so much for your time and attention and your presence and your patience and your openness and your courage to learn. Thank you for being here and receiving. I appreciate you so much. I hope this has been so helpful. Let me know in my DMs how you found it. Sending you so much love. We'll chat soon.